Hello, Maggie here, and welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd give you a little bit of an introduction to myself, explain my disability, explain why I decided to start making these videos. So when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which they've since changed the name to juvenile idiopathic arthritis. So I have juvenile idiopathic arthritis. Yes, I have a juvenile disease at age 33. The juvenile part is just when you were diagnosed. It used to be called juvenile rheumatoid arthritis because it was like rheumatoid arthritis, but in kids. But for a lot of kids, that wasn't the case. And a lot of them actually went into remission by the time they hit adulthood and don't have to deal with arthritis until later in life, like most people. Unfortunately for me, though, I got the kind that is just like rheumatoid arthritis. And it still affects me pretty badly to this day. It's only gotten worse as I've gotten older, and will probably continue getting worse as I continue getting older. As for the idiopathic part of that name, that just means we don't know what caused it. We don't know why you have it, which is super fun. It actually took me about 9 months to get diagnosed with arthritis because it's often really hard to figure out what it is in kids. I have a friend who has the same arthritis as me, and the doctors for a while thought, oh, there must be just be someone in her life who has a limp and she's imitating them. Because what kid has a limp? Well, a kid with arthritis, that's who. We actually both went through a very long diagnosis process. And luckily, we were little kids, so we didn't have to fight for ourselves. Our parents fought for us. It's a lot harder when you're fighting for yourself to get diagnosed, especially at a younger age. So, what does having arthritis mean for me? Well, it comes with the things you would typically think of with arthritis. I've got joint pain, joint stiffness, but also it's an autoimmune disease. So, I have a weakened immune system because that's the only way to fight it is to weaken my immune system through medication. So I get sick all the time, and I'm usually pretty exhausted as well. My body is basically at a constant war with itself, and that takes a toll on my energy levels. I also get pretty bad brain fog, which is basically what it sounds like. You feel like you're living in a fog, and you can't quite reach the thoughts that you know are there, and your brain is really slow. And I, for instance, will have a hard time finding a word. For instance, if I'm trying to think of the word thread, I know the word, but I can't think of it. And so I'll have to describe it to people and say, oh, I need sewing yarn. As I mentioned, my medicine makes me really exhausted. When I was first diagnosed, I was just on a bunch of pills. But when I hit 10, I started getting shots at the doctor's office. And then once I turned 15, they were like, no, we're not going to give these to you anymore. You got to do them yourself at home. So when I was 15, I learned to give myself shots right in my thigh. Now I don't have to do that anymore, luckily. Once a month, I go in and get an infusion at the local hospital. And one of my best friends likes to joke that I'm a robot because my battery drains and then I have to go to the hospital and get plugged in, and then I get more energy. I also have undiagnosed ADHD, which can sometimes make the brain fog a lot worse, especially when I'm exhausted. My brain won't concentrate on absolutely anything, and I'll find myself just staring into space for long periods of time. I've also likely got a slew of other undiagnosed issues because a lot of people with chronic illnesses, once you get one, you're likely to get more than one because they just compound on top of each other. A lot of my family actually have ADHD, which I think is one of the reasons I never realized that I had ADHD because growing up, everyone around me behaved and spoke and whatever the exact same way that I did. So I never realized that these weird quirks and behaviors that I have were actually ADHD. Although I did know from a young age that my brain was a little different than most people's brains, but I thought I was just weird, which I am also pretty weird. Some of my weird behaviors are just that I'm a bit weird. It's not just the ADHD. I've never really known life without being disabled, though. I've been disabled since I was 5 years old. I've got 28 years of experience with it. I like to call myself a professional sick person because the way I survive in this capitalistic society we find ourselves in is because I'm sick, I get money from the government through disability. Although hopefully you guys like these videos and I can maybe make money here instead. One of the main reasons that I want to make these videos is to help other people out there with the kind of content that would have really helped me when I was in my late teens, early 20s. It's a time when you're learning to navigate the world as an adult. But for me and so many other people out there, there's that extra level of also learning to navigate the world as an adult with a disability, which is very different than learning how to navigate the world as an able bodied person. When I was younger, I didn't have the language to say, I'm disabled. When I was in elementary school and even high school, I just said, oh, I have a disease. And that was enough of an explanation. No one really cared. When I was in my early 20s, I was like, oh, chronically ill. This is a thing. That's what I have. I have a chronic illness. And yeah, I still say that I have a chronic illness, but I didn't associate myself with having a disability because we have such a stereotype in our society of what being disabled looks like. You're wheelchair bound, you can't survive on your own, and that's just a bunch of bull. Having the word disabled for myself has helped me so much in my life. That use of language can help reframe in your mind how you live your life. I used to think, oh, I'm not disabled. I don't need mobility aids, even though I was really struggling to walk. I've also been able to find community in the disabled community because I have found that I do belong here. I used to think I would have to fight in order to belong to the disabled community because, oh, I'm not disabled enough. I hate that. If you have a hard time living your life, even if you have a somewhat difficult time living your life, you're disabled. I used to ride my bicycle to school every day. I was still disabled. I needed to take a long rest once I got to school. I now have a hard time riding a bike and I use a cane to get most places. I am still disabled. That doesn't negate how I was before. It doesn't mean I wasn't disabled then, but I am now. No, I was still disabled. Having the word disabled also really helps people around me to understand that I do have a hard time doing certain things and that maybe I need a little help. Although, if you are an able bodied person out there, always ask if the person needs help. Don't just automatically assume, oh, they're disabled, they need help. But if you see someone struggling, say, hey, do you need a hand? And if they say no, accept that no. I've also found that I personally have less guilt when I need help with everyday things. If I can't stand up while brushing my teeth and I have to sit down, it's because I'm disabled. That's okay to do. So, I want to make these videos to show other disabled people how I live my life and what kind of things I do to help cope with an ableist world around me. And I'd also like to show some able bodied people what it's like having a disability and maybe how you can help disabled people around you. So, what kinds of videos do I plan on making on this channel? I'd like to show you some really interesting cooking videos because through the past 13 years of living as an adult with a disability, I've really come up with a lot of recipes that I can do that don't take a lot of spoons, that are cheap and easy and healthy. I'd also like to show you some coping mechanisms I've found over the years to help me with things like brushing my teeth, how I shower easily, little things from day to day life that I do to make my life easier. I'd also like to show you some products that I have gotten over the years that have really helped me out and could help you out. And also just show you what it's like living life with my disability. Mainly, I want to show you what disabled joy looks like. Because there's not a lot of disability representation in movies and media, TV. You either get the poor, sad, disabled person that makes everyone around them want to work harder because they don't want to end up like them. Or you get the inspiration porn where it's like, oh, look, even they can do it. See, you can do it. No. I want to show you a realistic look at what a joyful, full life living with a disability can look like. My life's not always the most aesthetic, but I have a full, happy life, and I'd like to share that with you. I also love to craft, so let me know if you'd like to see some crafty videos of how I craft with my disability, or even show you the cool crafts I'm working on at the moment. Let me know down below what kind of content you'd like to see. And remember, you are not a burden. You are worthy of love and respect. I love you. Bye bye.